Love isn't destiny. It's an unspoken power game. And most men are playing by the wrong rules. Have you ever wondered why a man can have everything? Money, looks, status, but still ends up abandoned, betrayed, even disrespected by the woman he loves most? We've seen it happen with celebrities, successful entrepreneurs, and even among our own friends. Men who can command an entire room just by entering it suddenly feel powerless against a cold glance, an ignored text message, or prolonged silence from the woman they adore. Why does this happen? Because they've forgotten one critical truth. Love isn't a reward for kindness, it's a game of emotional power. And most men, despite being giants in business, are vulnerable within their own personal relationships. Niccolò Machiavelli, the famous political thinker from the 16th century, once declared, "People are not loyal to those who make them happy. They're loyal to those they fear losing." He wasn't writing about love, but Machiavelli's strategies for leaders perfectly reflect today's emotional dynamics, where a man must master the subtle arts of maintaining power, sparking desire, and influencing emotions like a hidden king. This video isn't about romance, it's about strategy, about how silence can echo louder than words, ambiguity creates attraction, and strategic withdrawal becomes your most powerful emotional weapon. Because in love, just like politics, the winner isn't the one who loves more deeply, but the one who understands the rules. Machiavelli once said, "Desire arises from chaos, not security. Desire never springs from stability. It thrives on uncertainty from mysteries that can't be easily predicted." Women don't fall deeply in love merely because of sweet words or kind gestures. Instead, they become fascinated by the intense emotions generated by unpredictability, by not knowing what's coming next. It's ambiguity, uncertainty, not steady kindness. That fuels true obsession and desire, Machiavelli clearly pointed out. In any power dynamic, whoever masters the psychology of the other person holds the upper hand. Just like on the battlefield of politics, stability might help you maintain power, but chaos is the true key to gaining it. A man who's always available, always punctual, always nice, eventually becomes predictable and loses value in a woman's eyes. This stability provides safety, but safety itself is the seed of boredom. If you want to create an irresistible attraction, become the one thing she can't fully control. Build a world of contradictions and surprises, where feelings swing between cold indifference and genuine warmth, deep care and sudden, unexplained disappearances. Women crave intense emotions, longing, and even that subtle fear of possibly being replaced. When you're mysterious, a question without an answer, you remain unforgettable in her mind. But if you're predictable and familiar, you quickly become something she overlooks. Remember, desire grows out of insecurity, and chaos never from safety and clarity. Silence is a statement, and sometimes the most powerful punishment of all. When a man suddenly disappears after a moment of deep connection, he isn't just stepping away. He's planting seeds of doubt and insecurity in a woman's mind. Questions immediately flood her thoughts, becoming an endless loop of uncertainty. What did I do wrong? What does he think of me? Does he still care? These thoughts spiral, trapping her in an emotional chaos that's difficult to escape. Machiavelli once said, "If you cannot be both loved and feared, then it's better to be feared." 2 weeks of silence is not merely empty time. It's a sharp psychological weapon, an invisible presence that can't easily be shaken off. The most unsettling feeling for anyone is uncertainty. That's the hidden strength of silence. It forces the other person to question themselves, desperately seeking answers to fill the emptiness. Weak men fear being forgotten, constantly seeking reassurance through texts, appearances, and explanations. But those who truly understand power know that it's absence, mystery, and silence that ignite intense desire. This psychological strategy isn't for the impatient or insecure. It's for those strong enough, disciplined enough, to temporarily step back to create a deeper, lasting impact. In any psychological game, the one who speaks the least, the one who masters the art of mysterious silence, is ultimately the one in control. Comparison isn't just words, it's an attack on the ego. Don't confuse ordinary jealousy with a clever psychological strategy. When you subtly mention an ex, you're not reminiscing about past feelings. You're planting seeds of doubt, making her quietly wonder, am I really as special as I thought? Machiavelli once wrote that skillful rulers don't need swords to conquer. They just need to sow uncertainty. In love, the strongest uncertainty arises from subtle comparisons. A seemingly innocent compliment like, "My ex used to make this dish, but yours is so much better," appears kind, but carries a hidden, invisible blade. From that moment on, her mind is no longer at peace. She might never openly question you, but she'll torment herself with internal doubts. Am I truly better, or just a replacement? This isn't ordinary love anymore. It's a quiet battle where she constantly fights to prove she's unique and irreplaceable. No woman wants to feel like a second choice or a copy. She desires to be special, completely unique in your heart. Yet even a gentle reference to your past can confront her with a shadow, forcing her into an internal struggle against her own doubts. You aren't openly competing or directly causing pain. Instead, you create a psychological arena where she battles herself for your validation, a validation only you control. Once she begins questioning her own worth, you're no longer just another guy. You've become a challenge she's determined to conquer no matter the cost. Love, if timed right, is a promise. But if timed wrong, it becomes punishment. Saying "I love you" during peaceful, sweet moments is like bringing flowers to a wedding. Beautiful, but unnecessary and easily forgotten. Everyone enjoys love when everything is calm and perfect. But if you truly want to leave a deep impression, you need to plant your affection in the most chaotic moments when she least expects it. Machiavelli once wrote that smart leaders don't follow the emotions of the crowd. They exploit internal contradictions. Similarly, in love, contradictions and instability are fertile ground for obsession. When you unexpectedly declare your love, right when she believes you're being cold, or offer a gentle look after disappearing without explanation, she can't tell what's genuine and what's not. This confusion and insecurity, not pure, simple love, is what keeps her endlessly wondering and trying to understand you. This strategy isn't for the inexperienced or impulsive. It's high-level psychological maneuvering. Each contradictory word, each unpredictable action becomes an invisible hook that binds her mind tightly to you. It's not about straightforward love. It's about an intense desire to unravel the mysteries she can't grasp. Love isn't simply a promise to make someone feel safe. It's a weapon that, when wielded skillfully, always leaves them wanting more. She won't love you because you're perfect. She'll love you because you create uncertainty, confusion. And within that chaos, you're the only thing she can't stop thinking about. To make someone addicted, never give too much. Give just enough. Then pull back. Love is like an addictive substance. The easier it comes, the quicker people become bored. But if you cleverly control and carefully adjust how much you give, generously at times, then suddenly withdrawing. You'll become the one in control, fueling an endless craving in their mind. Machiavelli once said that a wise leader never gives out favors all at once. Instead, they offer just enough to keep their subjects waiting and longing for more. In relationships, creating emotional addiction works exactly the same way. Don't abruptly disappear completely. Instead, gradually reduce your presence. Fewer texts, fewer intimate gestures, fewer expressions of affection. Just enough for her to notice something has changed, but not enough to openly blame you. This feeling of uncertainty and scarcity will make her desperately chase after those emotions again. Yet the quieter you remain, the more you control the situation. She'll be caught in a loop, expecting being disappointed, trying harder, then getting disappointed again. Unconsciously developing an emotional addiction that only you can satisfy. Women never obsess over what they already securely possess. Instead, they're fixated on what they once had, but is slowly slipping away. And if you're calm enough not to be controlled by your own emotions, you become an irresistible addiction she desperately craves. Holding back affection isn't cruelty. It's because you deeply understand what Machiavelli realized long ago. True power isn't in what you give freely, but in your ability to withhold what others desire most. True power never shows off. It makes others doubt, then silently worship. In a world where men constantly show off expensive cars, luxury homes, money, or status, the most dangerous man is the one who doesn't flaunt anything at all. He doesn't brag about his wealth, achievements, or position. Instead, he casually leaves a book on investing. Lying around, quietly displays an expensive watch on a shelf. Details that appear accidental, yet ignite curiosity and imagination in a woman's mind. Machiavelli once pointed out that the most powerful people never directly reveal their power. They let others guess and imagine. It's the same in relationships. What's truly attractive isn't what's obvious and certain, but the intriguing mystery of a man whose potential is still hidden beneath the surface. Women don't obsess over who you currently are. They obsess over who you might become. What they genuinely crave isn't immediate success, but the feeling that they're the first to recognize your hidden potential before the rest of the world notices. Never make definite promises about the future. Don't clearly plan things or confidently say, "We'll do this together." It's precisely this uncertainty and ambiguity that keeps her hooked longest. You're not binding her with words. You're binding her with quiet, persistent desire. Because in the game of relationships, ordinary men constantly try to hold on. But the dangerous man, the truly powerful man, is the one women always fear losing. Men aren't left behind because they lack love. They're left because they lack strategy. The tactics you've just learned aren't simply about love. They're about power. Not meant to deceive or hurt women, but rather to protect yourself from unconscious manipulation. Not to cause pain, but to reclaim the position and value that modern society has gradually stripped away from men. Machiavelli once wrote that the world doesn't belong to dreamers. It belongs to those brave enough to face reality and smart enough to turn it into an advantage. In relationships, sincerity isn't always the strongest weapon. You need to control the emotions you plant in others. A timely silence can be far more powerful than 1,000 explanations. A strategic retreat leaves deeper scars than the clearest goodbye ever could. And a mysterious, unpredictable presence lingers in someone's mind longer than anything certain and obvious. Women don't fall for predictability. They crave the man who keeps them questioning, doubting themselves. Not because they want pain, but because that's their deep, natural instinct. Men who fail to understand this are easily replaced by those who do. So don't try to be loved in ways you think are right. Instead, become someone she simply can't stop thinking about. Not through words or forced actions, but by subtle strategic control in everything you do.